This show is produced by Passtime Studios. Hey there, everyone. I hope you had a good holiday. And before this episode begins, I just want to stress that Josh and I are friends. For as long as we've known each other, we have always been comfortable disagreeing with each other, and we both also like to really win arguments. So if you are a person who gets uncomfortable with confrontation, you might want to skip the first half of this episode. Again, me and Josh are friends. If you want to support the podcast, you can become a patron at patreon.com/pastime, just like Kevin. And if there's any other topics you'd like Josh and I to discuss in the future, don't hesitate to reach out. Here's the episode. Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Passtime Thinker Topical segment. We're your hosts, Frederick Piquette and Joshua Belair. And yeah, how are you doing today, Josh?
I'm glad to be back. The only consistent thing you do on this podcast.
Hey man, fuck you.
I mean, truth hurts, you know.
It really does.
Hey,
So,
you can smash my streams all you want, you know. Like,
I mean, fair. It's fair. It's all fair game. Um, uh,
mm, yeah, I gotta get more consistent. Okay, continue.
so today, it's not really a specific thing that happened that we're talking about topically. It's more of what's been being discussed lately. And the first thing that we wanted to talk about today is essentially, if you don't know him, there's a Twitch streamer that goes by Hassan, and
Your crush.
my crush. I love Hassan. He got a 7-day ban over the word cracker, and I don't know if I need, like, after seeing what happened to him, I genuinely don't know if I need to bleep that out now. But he took the stance that the word cracker is not racist. He was met with a 7-day ban, and yeah, people are talking about it. What's your opinion, Josh?
I don't think you would like my opinion, to be perfectly honest.
Well, hit me with it. Let's see.
Cracker's a slur.
You think it's a slur?
It is. It has been used as a slur.
Yeah, it has been used as a slur.
And if you really think about it, like, Hassan should be like completely okay with this because he's the type of person that be like, all sorts of bad and stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So if you really look at like, sorry, I had to think.
Take time to think. But no, I get what you mean. Like, I don't think the word itself is inherently a slur, but it does have the capability to be used as a slur, of course. Um, uh,
And not to mention Hassan was like, you always gotta think about context too. And let's face it, he
yeah.
was saying like, oh, you fucking, I don't want to get
You'll use the F.
podcast
You'll
and
drop the F bomb, but you won't drop the C word, Josh.
what depends. I am part of the group, so like. And also, that's another thing. Like, apparently, if you're part of the group, it's okay to use a slur, but doesn't really make sense
I
to
don't think
me
that that's the
because,
actual rules of it. It's not if you're part of the group you're allowed to use the slur associated with the group. The group that uses the slur associated with them is about taking ownership back of the word. But do white people really need to take ownership of the word cracker? Like why don't we want people to use slurs? Like this is a genuine question, Josh. Why in theory do we not want people to use slurs
hmm,
in your opinion?
in my opinion, um, my opinion is probably completely different from anyone else, and I'm sorry if I my PC crash, but oh god, Bill Gates trying to find me.
But like what is the use of deterring people from using slurs?
What? I think I guess it's more of the polite thing because those are supposed to be like offensive, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
um it's just shit, what the fuck? I'm so I'm sorry, I've been tired. I've been fucking working like a dog for the past week. So those are insult, you
Yes.
know?
Yes, of course.
And that's that's basically it. Like
So,
it's an insult. It's not nice to say, and um, yeah.
but
But if you want my honest opinion on slurs, like if I'm using an insult, I consider that lazy.
yeah,
Like I can come up with way more creative things to say to you,
yeah.
than calling you by stuff you can't control. So
But what I like, you've clarified what a slur is, but what I'm asking is what's the actual utility of stopping people from using slurs?
it's none.
There's no utility? So you're saying like
Yeah,
you and I shouldn't be throwing around slur words purely because it's just impolite? Like that's the only reason we shouldn't be, saying slurs is just because it's impolite? Or is there an actual utility to stopping people from using slurs?
it's a nut because the slurs the only way they have power over you if you care about it. Because let's face it, if you call me a cracker or whatever
Yeah.
fucking shit the left is trying to insult me, I just don't give a shit, you know?
That's one thing I wish I did a little bit more research about. If it's more the left leaning or the right leaning people that actually like got upset about this word, because I don't
Fuck,
know.
I think it's probably more the right
We're
because
we're
eh,
assuming, but
yeah, maybe because of one Duncan Hassan and don't get me wrong, there's like a bunch of shit that you can dunk Hassan on, but
mhm.
to me like there's it hmm, isn't yeah, so it's only have power if you let them.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
of course. It's like I'm pretty sure that you'd probably agree with me on this is that there's probably a sliding scale of like least to most actually offensive slurs.
There is, but a
Yeah.
slur is still slow.
That's what I was getting at. Like, should we focus more on just making sure the severe slurs aren't said, or should we focus more on no slurs, period, should be said, period?
No slurs, period. No slurs, period, because let's face it, if you can't say the N word or the F word, like we got censor ourselves saying that. But if
Hmm.
I'm allowed to say cracker, like that's a slur for white people. Why can't I say it for the black people and why not say it for the gay people? Now, I will say that I am not advocating anyone to say the words to people. I know that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is why is it okay for to say for one people and not the other group?
I think it's a matter of history. It's a matter of who has the power in it. Because calling a white person a cracker has
Oh,
no historical value. Like, it's not like there's a
it,
history
that
behind the word cracker where, there was a group of crackers or whatever that were demoralized or taken advantage
that,
of. It's more
that
of
doesn't
a.
matter.
I feel like even if it were to be a slur, I feel like cracker is such a lazy, non existent slur. Like, I almost equivocate it to all lives matter versus black lives matter. It's just like, but like almost in like the reverse. It's like, oh, well, like, we have a slur too, so you can't, like, we can't call you this? Okay, you can't call us that then. Like, I find it's such a false slur. Like it's really almost a nothing word, to be completely honest. I've never. There's no. It's hard to explain. There's no history behind it. It's not like someone shouts the word cracker at me, and now I have to experience the history of my people and what that word means to me as a human being and what that person is meaning when they say that to me in a hurtful way. Like there's no context for it. It's like kind of like a stupid like little like yeah fuck you too. Like it's I just don't think it holds that much water as a slur. I will agree that technically speaking, because of the way it's being used, I would assume like I guess yeah it's a slur, but it's kind of not. I don't know.
It again, like I guess it debates where we like something I notice,
What's that?
but whenever it comes from like the slurs debate or like the LGBT debate or the
Hmm.
gender debate. I'm going somewhere with this.
Yeah, go for it.
Um, have you ever noticed that like oh we accept all races except basic? So the fuck I need to get better explain shit. Uh, have you ever noticed that that the left, especially like the woke crowd, love to target one specific thing?
Yeah, like when they're upset about something, they're upset about something specific. Um, uh,
No. Basically, again, this could be my logic is wrong, but
mhm.
the left loves to just shit on straight white men.
Yeah, because again, not me specifically or you specifically, but historically speaking, straight white men are responsible for a lot of fucking grief. Like, it's kind of understandable to harbor some level of resentment towards that class of people. Maybe not people on an individual level, but you can't deny that to a certain degree, you can look at a lot of atrocities, a lot of injustices in the world, and be like, straight white guy, straight white guy. Like,
You can say that on every single group.
mm, not as, like,
You can say that to every single group.
okay, what,
Like,
like, them, then if you can, what is the black equivalent of the Holocaust then? Like,
black
what is something equivalent to the Holocaust that black people did?
that black people did.
Yeah.
Ah, fuck. I gotta look into it, but I'm sure it's out there somewhere.
Or you can even
Uh,
flip it around. What's the equivalent of the atomic bomb that gay people did?
wait, they told me bomb. What the fuck are you talking about?
It was made by a straight white dude. What is the female equivalent to slavery? Mind you, I will admit that like women did participate in slavery, but it was run by a society run by straight white men, is what I'm saying.
Well,
Like,
you can make an argument that's child court, but not that. So what I'm trying to say is that how can you say like it's bad for people to be like, hey, you can't really say that, but you do the exact same thing to the people you don't like.
yeah, a level of
Like,
hypocrisy. I'm completely on your side about. Like, the the answer to exclusion isn't more exclusion. I get that.
yeah. But actually, I'll just put this that way. Let's use Christianity as an example.
Okay.
What's the Holocaust version or like kind of type of the Holocaust? Well, for Christianity, well,
The Crusades.
the- no,
Oh, okay. I was thought that's what you were going for, but okay, go for it. Keep on going.
no. I'm talking about when one group of subject is actually being I wouldn't say oppressed, but shit doing bad. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Have you ever wondered how the guy who on the Nobel the fuck the trials for the Nazis like
The
I'm
Nuremberg
fucking
trials.
thank you fuck God, I'm the one with the history background.
Yeah, I'm just saying buzzwords. I know what you mean, but I know you know the words better than I like what they mean more than I do.
Yeah. What did he use as a weapons?
I'm actually not entirely sure. That's what I mean. I know what the Nuremberg trials are, but you probably know
Ha,
more
ha,
about them than I do.
have you ever heard of the Armenian genocide?
No.
Well, in World War One, one of the generals of the Austro-Hungary.
Hmm.
Again, I might get some things mixed up, so feel free to yell at me at the comments. But why am I doing that? Okay, stop going. Sorry. Um, so the Armenian fuck, I completely lost my train of thought.
Armenian genocide.
Yes. The Armenian genocide. A general tried to enact a holy war against the Russians, which is I don't have to explain what holy war means.
Hmm.
So it did happen. They got destroyed, and they needed a scapegoat. So they attacked the Armenians, basically, who is predominantly Christian.
Okay.
So what happened is, they fuck. Gosh, that movie.
So
Basically, it's basically fucking genocide, and
yeah,
Tuggy. It's genocide. Tuggy denies it to this day. My apologies.
yeah. So my response to
Uh,
that is the the argument people are making is that it is not like straight white men versus insert group versus insert group. The argument is straight white men are a cause, or historically have been the cause for tragedies, injustices, even if those tragedies and injustices also affect other straight white men. It's not that it's this race and class versus another race and class. It's just that straight white men have perpetuated a lot of grief. Even if it's other straight white men that end up experiencing that grief, it is still coming from those people.
Again, like if you look at history, like it would make sense that straight white man
Yeah.
is the dominant thing because let's face it, Europe had been dominant for like what centuries.
Oh, absolutely.
But when I I feel like we got way off topic, but
Yeah. We'll
um
circle back eventually.
yeah, let's circle back eventually. But again, like how can you make that argument and say that like at least right now that um no, that's stupid. No, I was about to make an argument like how can you say you're oppressed right now, but there is stuff that still need to be overturned, like um yeah, so
For the favor of straight white men, or you mean for people opposing?
the first I guess straight like man because let's face it, we um yeah, I'll say we it's easier for me. Like I don't have to deal with shit the other races have to deal with, but there's stuff that I have to deal with that the other races doesn't have to deal with, you know?
Yes, but the difference is the things that both you and other races have to deal with is caused by your race. That is the argument people are making.
My race.
Pardon?
By my race, right?
Yeah. That even though you have different struggles and different obstacles to overcome, the same person who gave you your obstacles are the same people who gave them their obstacles, which is all people are trying to point out. They're not trying to vilify white people. Straight white, well, mind you, of course, whenever I make a generalization like that, there's always people on the extreme that actually do feel that way. I understand that. For the most part, at least the way I feel, it's like I'm not trying to blame straight white men as much as I'm just trying to point at the origin point. Like, just because I am a straight white man and historically people like me have put people down doesn't mean that because I also struggle that their struggles are invalid, because when it comes to the end of the day, their struggles are coming from the same place my struggles are coming from, because that's the problem. It's not me, it's people like me or who look like me, historically speaking. And like it's
Okay.
very disheartening to like, you know, that people just can't accept that. Like again, no one's placing blame. No one is, again, except for the extremists, but like it's not that difficult to at least say like, yeah, historically speaking, a lot of bullshit has been created by straight white men. That doesn't mean that all straight white men are evil, or that because straight white men are going through struggle that completely nullifies the struggles of other people. And I think when it
So
comes, oh sorry, go on. I was talking for a
no,
while.
yeah, continue. I want you to finish the statement.
I was pretty much finished my thought.
Oh, okay. So uh I didn't expect we go down this road. Okay, so true, if you look at people in groups, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
if you look at the individual, what did we do to deserve this hate?
Again, and again that's when you say by the individual, then my question is as individuals, how do we solve the problem? As individuals, not as a group, not as a monolith. As individuals, how do we fix these problems? You can't. These problems were caused because of groups, so it can only be solved because of groups. It's
True, but if you like, most people don't think that way because, like, let's face it, most people do not give a fuck about groups. They give a fuck about themselves, you
yeah,
know? So when hypothetically, let's say, like, there's a guy that say, like, black person say, like, kill all straight, kill all white men.
yeah.
Like, actually, that's another topic we can go into. Uh, can you be racist to white people?
I don't believe you can. There's no power. You need to have
Oh man,
power over
fuck it.
someone to be
No,
racist.
no, oh my fucking god, don't do this, man.
Sorry, I
Oh,
will.
that
I'll correct myself and then we'll just move on because this is a completely different topic. I don't
yeah,
believe that a black person can be racist to a white person in North America. I believe that there can be white racism towards white people in other parts of the country where maybe white people aren't the ones in power. But I think, specifically speaking, in European countries, in North America, not quite as much. We can move on.
I, and I'm gonna do a quick response and then we'll move on.
Okay.
Um, I'm sorry, I'm speechless, man. I never expect you to go down this path. But again, like the guy saying, like, fuck white people. I hate fucking white
Yeah.
people. I want all white people to die. Like I'm just saying here, like if you flip that to any other ways, that's automatically racist. But if you do it for white people, it's somehow okay because of this stupid power plus purpose bullshit. In which I'm gonna be completely honest, this is 100% my opinion. That is a tool for racists to actually try to justify their racism.
Yeah.
Because if you actually do it for any other race, it's automatically deemed racist and rightfully so.
So, and again, this is when we have to go on an individual basis, and we're gonna make some very sketchy roleplay real quick. But
Oh yes, I like that.
if you were to hear a black man go, "Kill all white people," and you asked him why, what do you think he would respond with? Police brutality, systemic racism, slavery, stole us from Africa, brought us here, made us their slaves, put us in the low income areas, redlining. Then you flip it. Let's say we flip it. You see a white dude go, kill all the Jews, and you go, why? What's he most likely going to say? They run the media, they took everyone's jobs, they're greedy, blah, 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 blah. One of those responses is racist, and one of those other responses, even though is extreme because, never resort to violence, is more understandable.
Just because it's not more inside, but it doesn't really make it more racist because if you actually say all that, and if your like automatic option is to kill all of the group,
Yeah.
then yeah, you're fucking racist. I'm sorry, man. Like,
I don't.
uh, that's such a fucking terrible argument in my opinion because again, one, nobody sees it in group. Like that logic makes sense if
Yeah.
you look at everyone in a group, yeah, in a group.
Hmm.
But if you look in the individual, as soon as they say all that, like I'll use that example. You use that example. So when the back person said like the like fuck his reasonings, I can say something like I'm sorry, man. I'm tired.
Yeah.
The guy be like, okay, I want to help you with that. Do you still want to kill me?
I don't know, man. That I just because you're offering to help them doesn't mean that they, one, have to say yes to your help, and two, take back what you did. If you, I don't think this is a very solid.
Wait. Time
Oh,
out, time out, time out, time out, time out, time out.
go
What
on.
I did? What did what I did? Like, what did I do to put let's say all that?
Well, if that's the way
Like,
you feel, why
what?
would you even offer to help them then?
Well, I want to help
Why do you want to help them? That's not, you didn't do that. That's not your fucking responsibility. Why do you want to help them?
because I wanted to. Oh my. Yeah, we are talking two different things whatsoever. You're looking at the group, and I'm looking at the individual.
Yeah, because
Like,
it was a group that did it. It wasn't an individual who did this. It was a group of people who did this. So you
yeah,
can't
but
take the the sins of the group and then put it down to the individual to make up for that. That's just us martyring our own people that don't deserve it. It's a group that did this. It's a group that needs to fix this.
Yeah, but the group, but do you think that's really justify the fact that you can hate the group even though I'm trying to help you fix that problem?
Yeah, I understand the hatred. I'm not trying to justify like wanting to kill someone, but I understand the hatred. That's why
Yeah, but
I don't think it's any better than the other. But like if I hear about, again, assuming it's good fucking reasoning, like if a black person says, you know, kill Whitey, I think that's more anger and vengeance and malice than it is racism. Because it's not coming from a point of racism, it's coming from a point of retaliation. You did this to me, so I want to do this to you. Not, you are this skin color, therefore I want to do this to you. You know what I mean?
So if let's say hypothetically like a black guy walks my house and steal all my belongings, did that give me justification to hate all black people?
No, because that was an individual who did that to you. So that would be an individual basis, because it wasn't the society of black people who broke into your home and stole everything. That was a specific black person, and you have every right to be very upset with that individual. Because it wasn't a system, it wasn't a group, it wasn't a conglomerate of black people who systematically did this to you with organization and stuff like that. That, in that specific case, it was an individual. So that would be an individual case.
I like to point out that blacks was the one that sold the blacks to the white people, but um, no one want to bring that up. But um, hmm. You can't really fix this problem by hate.
No, absolutely. I completely agree. I'm saying
Like,
I'm not saying hate is the answer. I'm just saying I understand why the hate is there. Like that's
yeah,
all I'm coming
I
from.
I understand why the hate is there, but if you use that as fuel, let's say,
Yeah.
to like beat someone to death because of their race,
Yeah.
then yeah, I'm probably gonna call you racist, even though it is quote unquote justified.
Hmm.
Like, the fuck, we all got way off topic. Okay, so
Well, I believe, like, in all honesty, what this really comes down to, because with the whole cracker debate, what we're basically trying to argue about is, do white people need to be protected? Essentially. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's basically what this entire thing boils down to. Is, are white people a class of people that need social protection?
uh, well, you could definitely, well, you it has to be no then because, but actually, you can say that every group kind of need protection because,
Mm-hmm.
again, from an individual perspective, I if I kill someone just because of the white or because they're black or because they're Asian,
Yeah.
then you can make that argument that any race can be protected, even if in the
Mm-hmm.
majority, you know?
Yeah. I think where you see, I don't know.
I think
I
that
lost my
I,
thought.
I think this is the first time during the 3 episodes that we actually disagree on something.
I think it's not that we even disagree. We just disagree on the optics. I see it as group. This needs to be a group thing, and you see it as it needs to be an individual thing. Like, in the end, we're kind of going towards the same thing, but we just have very different optics.
Yeah. But I feel like mine is like like again, like I really hate that like use like personal history, but um if a guy like let's say a white guy is a redneck, like
Mm-hmm.
dirt poor, lives in a trailer park, and someone like some black guy who like went to fucking Harvard, like let's say he's the son of like Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Yeah.
If the black guy went to the redneck guy and say, "You are oppressing me," how would that make sense?
Well, that
It
conversation would make it about individuals. Like, when you really think about it, that person
True,
isn't
but
right.
Sure, but when you actually look at it in a group settings,
Hmm.
you basically have no choice. That basically you're punishing the redneck guy for something that is completely out of his control.
Yeah. Um. And again, that's not how I view it. It would be. It's not that the redneck is oppressing that black person. It's just that redneck is also suffering from a system run by predominantly straight white dudes. Again, it's
Okay.
not race versus race. It's just everyone's being affected by the same thing. What is that same thing? It's not
Yeah.
black versus white.
Okay. Okay. So let's. Okay. So what are we gonna do about it?
Dude, I don't fucking know. I'm not a fucking politician. I haven't gone to school for that stuff. All I'm doing is just pointing out what I observe. I really don't know how to fix it. I'm not going to pretend I know how to fix it.
True, but you can scream all you want, but if you don't really have a way to fix it, like that's like
I mean, to be completely honest, step one of fixing it would be to recognize what the problem even fucking is.
okay.
Until we
So what?
everyone can agree on what the problem is, there's really no second step to fixing it.
And if I'm being completely honest, that's never gonna fucking happen.
No, and I completely fucking agree with you. Unless we get to
Um,
like until we get to like thousands of years from now when we've just breeded into a single race just because people like there's really never going to be an actual cure to racism or cure to oppression. And again, like a lot of the points you and I are making specifically have to do with North America, maybe Northern Europe, right? I really don't know what kind of social justice goes on in South America. I really don't know what goes on in Asia, in the more eastern parts of Europe. Like, I don't know what goes on there. Like, this is just my standpoint on what's going on in North America, mainly, or North America and Europe, right? Like, this isn't as much as we like to make ourselves the center of attention, like, this really isn't a global issue. It's,
that's it's kind of more of NA type of thing.
yeah, like, I think that's why maybe everyone's afraid to touch the subject, is just I think everyone puts way, 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 way more emphasis on how important these things are, because when a lot of people talk about it, they make it sound like it's a global issue. But no, it's a North American issue. And yeah, I think we should start involving ourselves more in solving our problems instead of going overseas and solving other people's problems when we have such a broken system ourselves, to be completely honest.
Cough, alack, cough, cough. Um, but yeah, but the problem is we need to identify the problem and
Yeah,
actually try to fix it, because again, like those injustices become black people, the injustices become nations, and yeah, so even have been injustices become the white people, you know.
yeah, I'm not going to
But
say that
what?
like white people are perma protected from everything. I'm just saying like when you really weigh the two injustices, like would we got to help the white people really be at the top of your priority list?
True, but injustice is still injustice, and I feel like people are forgetting that fact, you know.
Yeah, and then that I don't know that for me that really cycles into like the whole all lives matter versus black lives matter. It's like yes, there are injustices, but like what really is the priority? Like are we really going to see black people get shot by the police and then see a white dude get called cracker and have to take a moment and be like, okay, what is the more pressing issue here? It's important that we look at everything equally because injustice is injustice. Like, no, you're gonna do the more severe thing first. You're gonna clean up you're gonna clean up the bigger mess first.
Give me a second. Yeah, that's true, but I I really don't want to make that argument, but
You don't want to make that argument?
because I feel like I'm kind of walking into an all that mile position,
That's
and
what I mean. That's why I can't see it that way, because that's also how
uh,
I see it.
True, but if you fix that, if you fix like let's say we use police shooting for example,
Hmm.
if you fix like what police are not only allowed to shoot they're not allowed to shoot black people like at all, and they're allowed to shoot every other races because I believe there was statistic, fuck yeah, statistic that police are 50% more willing to shoot a white person than a black person
Out of
for
fear
obvious
of
reasons.
social judgment.
Yeah, and I'm just saying here, like, wouldn't it make sense just to fucking improve the training so nobody get fucking shot?
But that also doesn't make sense. Like, how is it that police officers are 50% more afraid to shoot a black person than a white person, but it's still only black people getting shot, primarily? It means even though they're more afraid to do it, they're still more comfortable doing it, or still more likely to do it. Because if that was true, you would see the rate of police violence against black people drop 50%. Why hasn't that happened?
Yeah, I thought I thought the police shot white people more than the black people.
I don't believe so. Either that or it just
Uh,
doesn't get as much attention. But we are kind of losing ourselves. I think we're about to take a break
yeah,
and move into the next subject.
yeah,
Um,
we
uh,
can
yeah, this might be something we need to revisit. To be completely honest, maybe actually this,
100%.
yeah, like this was our face value, just opinions, but like it might be worth it for us to read up on some studies and analytics and stuff like that and revisit this conversation in the future.
Yeah, we planned meeting like a week ago, so
But okay,
we did. We,
yeah, we're gonna take a quick break and then move on to a new topic, which I'm pretty sure you and I agree on. I really hope that this doesn't happen in two segments in a row. Uh,
yes, back to the status quo.
Alrighty, we'll be right
No,
back.
this is
Oh,
no. But before you stop, I would like to say that I actually like this. You know.
you like the Discord? I mean, this, to be completely honest, we're gonna go a little off topic, but I don't fucking care. Like I already said, we're ending that segment, so like we can talk about whatever right now. But like my biggest fear of doing this was us agreeing too much. So like, yeah, I kind of enjoy when you and I disagree a little bit.
Yeah, I need to get better at debating, but yeah, another thing that I didn't want to bring up on topic is that the left just like again, like the left loves to like fucking shit on straight white people, and it even though they're the equality people, you know,
Yeah,
like
I
they base like how can you be like for equality and the shit on um one particular set of groups? That makes sense.
no, I get what you're coming from. I do not entirely agree, but that's a whole other subject. Um, uh,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
we'll
Sorry.
no, it's fine. We'll be right back with a different topic. Hey there, I'm going to take this moment to plug our stuff again. If you enjoy this content and would like to see more discussions I have with people, you're already on the right place. Just scroll down. However, if you need some visual stimulus, Josh streams on Twitch and YouTube at King Tamacross, along with his own style of commentary videos. And if you would like some fun fiction, I have also written an e-series called Project Maternity. Shout out to our patron Kevin, and if you would like to become a patron yourself, go to patreon.com/passtime. I'll leave all the links in the description, and let's get back to the show. All right, and we're back. How you
3 days
doing?
later.
They don't know that. Yeah, it's been about 3 days. We're recording this over the Christmas weekend, and yeah, we had some scheduling issues, but yeah, we can record the other half now. And
We that's a lie, Fred. We didn't leave the call. We were still
yeah,
arguing.
yeah, we just been arguing for 3 days straight about what we talked about.
Exactly, you know.
Yeah, we finally
Ah,
hashed it out. Uh, we're no
no, we
longer
didn't.
friends. This is the last episode.
Ah.
uh,
You got up politics, eh?
well, that's one thing I really like about at least our friendship is that we really can disagree on anything, and like the friendship is still intact.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but that seems like kind of a lot odd these days, eh?
Just debate in general.
Uh, well, yeah, that's two, but like apparently it's like um like Democrats won't be like friends with Republicans,
and
air
vice
quotes.
versa. Yeah, and I know that
Yeah,
that was really like exacerbated when Trump got voted into office. Like there was a lot of people disowning family in both directions, and a lot of people calling friends out, ending relationships again in both directions. But the whole notion of itself is silly, right?
yeah, and not to mention whoever's in power, it's just flip flops. Like,
Yeah.
if the Democrats are in power, the Republicans bitch, and the Republicans are in power, the Democrat bitch. Like,
Oh yeah, of course. That's
th- there's just a lot of bitching, you know. Like let's face it, the Republicans and like the Biden area, like administration, it's basically what the Democrats were bitching at 2016.
yeah,
Like, do you really going to tell me that the election fraud is not different from Russiagate? Like, it's cope. Like,
yeah.
it's cope. But okay, that's actually not what we're trying to talk about.
No, there's actually something else that we had planned to talk about in this segment. So, and again, it's one of those like I don't know the very fine details of the situation, but I know like the topic at large of like what it strung, what happened. Essentially, in the states, there was another school shooting. I mean, you can almost set your fucking watch to it. Um, uh,
I wonder if you get like a nice school shooting, you get something for free.
like a little punch card.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I to buy 9 max shootings, I should at least get free college.
Oh my god. I mean, like the way people are going about it, like you'd think there is some kind of fucking special. Um, uh, but an oldie and a goodie, video games was brought up in this specific school shooting.
Definitely, we are definitely experts on that thread.
Oh yeah, this is something I feel very strongly about. Um, uh, so yeah, the overall subject is, um, uh, are video games a cause for violence, or does video games create violence? Like, are video games at all responsible for violence existing, for violence occurring? What's your take, Josh?
Hitler was a big gamer. I'm gonna say that.
Hitler was a huge gamer. Uh,
Oh yeah, definitely. You know. Okay. This is basically like whatever was hot right now, or like whatever, like I guess the younger generation enjoy, the older generation tend to demonize it.
yeah,
Like
because
they, oh, I was
go on. Actually, I think you might make the same point I'm about to make, anyways. So
basically video games is what Walker World,
yeah, that's
D
exactly
and
what I was gonna say.
D, Walker World, D&D,
Yep.
and anime, and in the future I would definitely not be shocked to see if VR it had also become a target. But
Yeah.
basically, people just they want scapegoat.
Oh, absolutely. And I feel like a lot of the people blaming video games are the same people that were defending rock and roll music, which I
Yeah,
find, a little hypocritical. Like, I know that's not like 100% the case. This is just like a
like
huge,
I,
like, grouping of people. But yeah, there
I
was
would
always something to blame.
I would also like to point out that Welcome in the 50s are fucking tame according to now. Like apparently, like are you familiar with Louis Louis but the Kingsman?
Nope.
Dun 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 dun. Nope. Okay.
No.
Okay. So apparently, the FBI investigate the song for 2 years because there was some dirty language, and believe it or not, they were right. But um they didn't focus on that because the drummer said fucked in like the 2 minute mark, and they were investigating something else, but that's me rambling. So
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure,
like,
and in this specific case, it was because the shooter tweeted a quote from Fallout. Is it Fallout 76?
no, it's a file for.
Fallout 4.
How dare you bring that game to me?
But
Fucking
essentially,
76.
it
No.
was the I am death, right? The I am death quote.
Destroyer of Worlds,
Destroyer of Worlds.
where they tried to say that it was from Fallout 4,
It's
and
not.
it's God damn it, like you think the amount of times the U.S. jerk off World War II, they would at least have that correct, you know?
Yeah. So he was quoting a video game, correct, but the video game itself was quoting a very real life person who said those words about it was creating the first nuclear bomb, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, fuck. Give me a second.
Do some quick research. Um, uh,
No, I just can't remember his name. Frankie D. Roosevelt, or FDR.
FDR.
As as soon as they dropped Fat Man on Japan in Hiroshima, I think, he, or one of the two cities, he
Yeah.
basically say like, "Oh fuck, we can basically commit Armageddon,"
Yeah. Literally
and then
Armageddon at their fingertips.
yeah, and then he said, "I am death, destroyer of wars," and to me, that's just such a like, God, like as as
So
someone who likes as someone who likes history, like, can you at least like make it right? Like, God, I'm so fucking angry. Okay, sorry, continue.
oh, it's just like one thing I wanted to at least introduce was, do you think a lot of people blame violence on video games because of how closely video games reflect the real world to begin with? Like kind of like a chicken and an egg situation where they think the violence is coming from the video games, but what's really happening is the video games and like that art form is just reflecting what's going on in real life.
Can you not make that same argument with movies?
Yeah, absolutely. You absolutely can make the same with any art form, really. But no one's attacking movies. People are attacking video games for
They
some
used
reason.
to.
Oh
They
yeah, they
used to.
absolutely used to.
That that was another target. I didn't mention that, but I feel like I feel like the argument is basically like because you control what's going on in the video game and not in the movies.
Like you're the one
I,
pulling the trigger, you're the one aiming the guns. If you're playing a first-person shooter, there's a lot more video games than just fucking first-person shooters.
yeah, I'm still waiting how Bejeweled fucking create violence, but or Candy Crush for that sakes. Um, but yeah, like not to mention, like if you actually play a fucking FPS, like with a controller, for example, we're not gonna go with PC and that type of stuff. Um, pulling a trigger on the controller is completely different from pulling a trigger on a gun. Anyone who knows how to shoot a gun knows that difference, you know?
Yeah, because an argument I would make is that if video games are just as violent as doing it in real life. If playing first person shooters is no different than actually being an active member of the military, then how come people who play first person shooters don't have the same rate as PTSD as drone strike operators? Because the drone strike operators are essentially just playing a video game as well, but they get clinical PTSD from what they're doing. So if it's the exact same thing, how come someone who's operating a drone in real life gets PTSD and me operating a drone in a video game doesn't do that to me? It's because we
Uh,
can make the actual connection that that isn't real life.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? That's probably not the most solid comparison. I recognize that, but that's just what came to mind. Is like if video games is the equivalent of or exacerbates violence, then what about drone strike operators? Because I've never actually seen what it's like to be in the booth as a drone strike operator, but like the number one comparison that I've seen in interviews is that they immediately compare it to video games. Like they operate drones with an Xbox controller to make them more comfortable with what they're doing, to make it seem more and more like a video game.
Yeah. And not to mention that I know we brought this up, but I totally forgot my train of thought.
That's
Uh,
perfect. I love it when that happens.
oh yeah, definitely. Uh, yeah, continue. probably come back to me.
One thing that I will, and I think this is just a case of their argument being too strong, because I do, even though I don't agree that video games cause violence or video games encourage violence, video games do evoke emotions. You know, whether it's positive or negative. You and I streamed together. We were on Mount Gegazet fighting Seymour. Video games can make people pretty pissed off.
Definitely. Final Fantasy X, for example.
But at the same time, we've seen the ending of Final Fantasy X. At least I've gotten very emotional. I love that ending.
I didn't care.
I know you didn't. I did. But I'm just saying that the potential is there. It's like saying, like, oh, I got stuck on this boss fight, got super fucking angry, went out and assaulted someone. Is that the video game's fault or is that my fault? Like, yeah, the video game may have evoked that emotion in me, but I'm still responsible for my actions, and the video game had nothing to do with me going out and hurting people.
I did point out that argument can be the same as any other art form, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like music.
Oh, yeah, we can absolutely apply this argument to any art form. But this is, at least as of today, or as of recently, like, this is the only art form that is being attacked is video games. And I don't know if... Oh, go on.
I was about to say, like, rap music, but...
Oh, rap music used to be, especially in the, I want to say the 90s. Rap music was heavily targeted in the 90s. Before that, fucking jazz music was heavily targeted.
Strange, because jazz is not really a violent music group, you know?
But that was more racially motivated than...
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean...
what we're talking about here.
Yeah, like, I can understand, like, punk or metal, but jazz? Like,
yeah.
Seriously?
I mean, like, my dad used to tell me stories about how if he got caught listening to Kiss, my grandfather would break his cassettes, throw them out the window, scream at my dad. Like, there's always an art form that, like, I'm just assuming, like, the older generation just can't understand how the younger generation is consuming it, so they see that as a threat. And I know that this is a quote that's thrown around a lot, but, like, people fear what they do not understand, and if you're an idiot, you don't understand much. You know what I mean?
Not to mention, it also... Again, it's an excuse because no one want to talk about kind of the main problem with, I guess, I would say atrocities, but that's not the right word. Like,
yeah,
I guess, like, problems with the world, which is, I don't know if you agree with me with this, but I feel like we should pay attention to more mental health than anything.
Yeah.
Because this is gonna be extremely
controversial.
Thank you. I'll talk about the school shooting because we keep that's the topic. I understand why most of them do it, but
yeah.
I'm not.
No, I get you.
Because let's face it, I was also in that position, you know? Like, if you actually look, like, through most of them, they were, like, bullied a lot at school. Like, you know the stereotype. The quiet kid brings out gun and exacts his revenge. But
yeah.
I can understand why they do it. I'm not encouraging it. Don't fucking do it. It's high school is not worth the rest of your life in jail.
Yeah.
But
like,
I feel like people... Sorry, I feel like people just don't want to talk about mental health because it's a big... Like, it's really... I guess it's uncomfortable for people to talk about it. But I feel like as we go further along into the digital age, we are going to have to address it, like, sooner or later.
Yeah, but I feel like the reason why, at least for this topic specifically, I feel like why a lot of people don't think mental health is a discussion for this, because a lot of people throw the we need better mental health guards as a response to people trying to introduce gun safety laws. And I honestly think we can have both conversations at the same time. I don't think it's restrict guns or talk about mental health. We can absolutely do both. Like, there's a reason why when someone's on suicide watch, the first thing you need to do is hide all the sharps and anything that they can hurt themselves with. I think it's the same situation here. Fucking better gun safety laws, so that while we're trying to get the proper mental help, there's no slip-ups.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not to mention it's kind of a weed flag. It entirely depends on what political, like what political does the. I cannot fucking think today. What the fuck? It depends on what politics the other person is using. Like, if it's liberal, they want to ban guns. If it's Republicans, they want to do the mental health thing.
Which I will point out too. It seems to be the only time that Republicans will advocate for mental health.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I fully know what you mean, because the other one is somebody they very, very like, I guess.
But yeah, it just makes it...
get me...
Sorry. It makes it feel less genuine. That's the only thing. I would probably take them more seriously on that if it wasn't for, this is the only thing that they will bring this subject up for, and it's just so they can, keep their guns. But the thing is, if we do gun restrictions and gun laws properly, these people aren't really going to be affected by it. This is just to make sure that people who shouldn't have guns don't end up getting their hands on them. If you're already a responsible gun owner that does everything right, then I think you should be fine. But if you're a responsible gun owner that does everything right and your child isn't at risk, then what's more important? You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's more important, maybe your kid or the guns?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with you though. Also, for disclaimer, we're Canadian, so
yeah, we brought this up on the live when we were talking about the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. We were bringing that up. Yeah, we're both Canadian, and we have extremely strict gun laws.
Oh yeah, definitely. Again, the only reason why I brought that up is because we might not know what the fuck we're talking about, but to again, don't blame Mario for school shootings. Doesn't make sense.
That's another thing too. I wish people would I feel like this would be an easier, more palatable conversation to have if they just narrowed their argument down. But if they just go, video games cause violence, it's no, there's a shit ton of reasons why I can prove you wrong. But if you nuanced it more and be okay, well, first-person shooters that encourage killing people and have all these great graphics might desensitize people to the idea of using those guns themselves, and depending on their mental state, watching NPCs and online characters die might make them more comfortable with the notion of possibly doing it themselves. There's somewhat of an argument there. But just touting video games cause violence, no, they don't.
And not to mention, if they use that argument, you can say that for any other art form, so...
Yeah. Plus, I just want to bring this up, because I know that this is another very pro-gun argument. Guns don't kill people, people kill people. Well, then video games don't kill people, people kill people.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the gun's a tool, you know?
Yeah.
If you put a gun down, it doesn't do anything, unless it's missiles or something like that. But... you need human control for the gun to do anything.
Yeah.
And bullets and safety and all that stuff, but
there's still very specific gun rules. Just because if you put a gun down, it doesn't do anything. That doesn't mean if I put a gun down in front of a 5-year-old, something's gonna happen and it's gonna be my fault.
That's another thing. Why the fuck why you have guns around children? They're just fucking asking for it at that point.
Yeah.
What is it? A delayed abortion? What?
Oh my god. And I've seen some dismissive arguments. I've seen, some somewhat okay arguments. Like I know like what a lot of people are afraid of is that if the gun laws get too strict, it'll come to a point where it's not even worth owning a gun. Therefore, counteracting their whatever fucking amendment, right to bear arms. I don't know if that's their first or their second.
Second, first is freedom of speech.
Yeah.
But um,
Oh, then
I
we're
like
just
to
going
point
down the
out
list on this episode then.
that, what's the third one? Not
I have no idea.
no. Like not to mention if you do like sugar gun laws, like would it make sense that a black market will appeal?
I'm I'm not entirely sure. I feel like there's actually no evidence of that being a thing. I feel like that's been tested. Yeah, in like Australia and stuff like that. They got super strict gun laws and their black market essentially remained completely unchanged. Didn't get worse, didn't get better, but it just remained.
Yeah, I can definitely see an argument Republicans make that, but
It's not
uh,
really an argument you can have without data though. Because then you're just
yeah,
both
true.
speculating at each other. Well, what if? Okay, well, I hear your one if, and I reply with this what if.
True, but if you really think about it, like having sugar gun laws that is speculative, so that's kind of the argument you go through though.
Yeah. Like, and again, I really don't know how to make their gun laws stricter. Because I really don't, like, to be completely honest, I don't really have a full grasp as to how lax their gun laws are. I know that we have very, very strict gun laws here in Canada, and even Canada doesn't handle them the best. Like, one thing that's very stressful about owning guns in Canada is that they change gun laws overnight and tell nobody that they've changed these laws.
And not to mention the way the U.S. is structured. Like let's say President Biden said like, okay guys, I'm using like the nuclear code option or something like that,
Okay.
and we're gonna ban all handguns. He signed the paper and everything.
Yeah, okay.
He can't force the states to do anything.
Yeah. Because at least in Canada, I know that there's instances, and like I've heard stories where like, just Parliament passes a law that changes something, and sometimes something completely minute. They'd be like, for any semi-automatic rifle, the current law is you can only have a clip of a maximum of 5 rounds, and now we're changing it to 4. They sign it off. Nobody knows that they did this, and then you're going hunting one day, you get pulled over. Sorry, your clip's illegal. Like you're getting charged now, and there's no way for you to even know that your clip is now illegal to own. Like
Yeah,
that is a
and
problem with the way Canada does it, in my opinion.
mm, it sounds like you have experience with this, Fred.
Well, I know a lot of gun people. Like I myself do not own any guns, but I am friends with a lot of people who do own guns.
Yeah, like fuck. There's like a website like for strictly gun laws.
Yes, there is
Or
a website. They do update the website, but unless you as an individual are checking that website every morning when you get up, there's no way for you to know if anything changed.
yeah, it seems bullshit.
Yeah. There is a website, there are resources, but it's one of those like the vigilance is 100% on you to keep up to
Uh, not,
date with it.
not to mention if the charge requires like jail time. Like I feel like that should not be
Yeah,
legal.
I'm pretty sure
Like
whenever they do change the law, there is a grace period. But again, nobody knows that the law's been changed. So, like, unless you get really lucky and find out within that grace period and, like, turn the clip in or turn whatever gun or whatever's changed in.
take the boy out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking bullshit in my opinion.
Yeah.
And we have gone way off topic. I
Yeah.
think we I think we're noticing a trend here.
Yeah. We go off topic quite often.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotta be annoying.
But, well, I'm just, again, I'm just trying to bring out, like, what too far could look like. And as far as I know, the states look nothing like that. Which means there is probably some room for them to tighten up their gun restrictions a little bit more. Like,
I I do agree with that, but the problem is how you're gonna force it because
yeah.
um hold on, man, because uh, I believe one state tried to do that, but they immediately said that, okay, this is a gun haven zone, meaning that we don't have to fucking follow your laws. Like that.
Well, it has a lot to
I,
do
I,
with the lobbying that the NRA does, right?
I don't think so. Like I think it's the way the US is structured because um I know this is gonna be I know we're going extremely off topic, but I believe Trump tried to um sign an executive order for something. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
And like all the states that basically told him to fuck off.
Yeah, because I know that like at least early in his candidacy, like I know that like things really got off the rails with Trump throughout his presidency, but I know I've seen a lot of videos of very early in Trump's presidency where he was kind of known as like the first president to like not really give a fuck about the NRA. Like he was actually like the only president in a while, if not the only president ever, to like push back on the NRA, like to their faces out loud in the same room with them. And like,
Let's face it, the IRA is kind of cringy as fuck.
yeah.
If I'm being perfectly honest.
And like that was like one moment where I'm like, oh fuck, okay, maybe he's gonna take some shit seriously. But like again, I'm pretty sure that was like sometime within like the first year that he was president, and like that's not at all how it went. But that was like that was the last time I actually had hope while during his presidency.
Damn, man.
And I was like, well, it's actually a really cool video. It's like I think it was like right after his school shooting, and like Trump was in a meeting with all of his advisors, and I think a representative from the NRA, and he was just hitting the NRA dude with questions. And like every time like the NRA representative like said like, well, you know, like I don't know, and he goes like, isn't it your job to know? Like I'm the president, you're sitting at the table with me, you're supposed to know the answers to all my questions. If you can't explain to me why I need to keep these laws, why do I need to keep these laws? And like the NRA dude was like and it's a really gratifying video to watch.
Yeah, wasn't I don't want to speculate, but wasn't that really why Trump got elected in the first place? Because Obama was kind of a pushover.
That I'm not entirely sure. I really don't know what was going through the minds of people that voted Trump in. Um, uh,
I don't know, but I have watched like a few videos about it. It was either fuck you vote for Hillary,
yeah,
or a fuck you Obama vote.
yeah.
Like I don't want to give the guy credit, but it seems like he kind of walked in the right place in the right time.
Oh, that's absolutely what happened. That's,
Okay, but that's like another topic for another video.
yeah. I mean, we're almost at the end of this segment now. Do you have like any final thoughts on the whole gun debate, video game causes violence debate? Anything you want to leave off at?
Yes, I remember the first time I played Stardew Valley. I immediately gunned down 1,000 people. Good times, good times.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Stardew Valley can be a little irritating.
Definitely, you know, especially when my crops doesn't grow. Like, god damn
Oh
it.
yeah, when like you have 15 days left to grow your cauliflower, but spring ends in 14 days, but you didn't realize that when you planted them, and now you just like wasted all of your cauliflower crop because you planted them a day too late, and now it's fucking summertime and they're all dead.
I
That
know, right? That's why I got quit because the judge understand.
that's why I
You
got
know,
acquitted. It wasn't my fault. It was Stardew Valley's fault.
it's not to mention you could probably, if video games did cause violence, you could probably use the argument in court.
Yeah, and to be completely honest, if video games cause violence was a universal accepted truth, it would probably get a lot of people out of trouble.
Wait, what?
It's
Not to
like,
mention, if you do like the blanket Tom, like the other thing a criminal do is just got down Candy Crush and be like, "Oh, I have Candy Crush and make me violent," you know?
oh, it's just like, sir, why did you sexually assault that woman? Well, you see, I just finished my playthrough of God of War 2. and, and there's like crazy sex scenes in there. So like the God of War 2 made me do it.
Yeah.
And not to mention too, if because when it comes to criminal cases, like there always has to be something to blame. Like the blame always has to be casted on something, which means we're going into a complete hypothetical world right now, but if video games was accepted as the cause of violence and people started using that as ways to get out of court trouble, then all of those charges would just get moved to the video game companies. People would start suing the video game companies.
They would. And God, if it did that, then that probably would kill art, because
I don't even know about that. Like, do you really think that, like, I don't know. Because I don't know who would have the more resources then. Because would it be the victims or the state that goes after them? Like, if...
the
like,
state.
It would be the state. So it would literally be the state versus big corporation.
If we don't change anything, like,
Mm-hmm.
anything, like, like the video game industry is making the amount of money that they were originally making, like, it would have to be the state, because how the fuck is you're going to sue someone like Nintendo, for example?
That would be another thing too. What happens? Sorry, this is too fun to like not talk about right now. But like, yeah, say fucking Bowser pisses me off for the last time. I go clear a school out. I get arrested. I blame video games. They ask me what video game. I say Mario. They go, oh, we need to sue Nintendo because Nintendo is responsible for a school shooting now, but they're in Japan. So is that an act of terrorism now?
Yes, that makes sense.
Because they're a different country?
Yeah, that does make sense. Like, are we gonna go?
How far do we take it?
Like, are we gonna go a war over fucking Mario?
And then that's the same thing too. If that is an act of terrorism, do we respond with treating it as a declaration of war, or do we try to sue a company in Japan?
Yeah, that's completely true. And not to mention, like, let's say, like, oh fuck, like, imagine if the entire development country, the development team is like a certain race or a certain religion, or fuck, even a certain gender. Like, can we use that as ammunition against those people?
Yeah, like I don't know.
Like,
That's something that I kind of want to leave people at. Like, if how far can that go? If we're in a hypothetical world where video games was an accepted truth to cause violence,
and not to mention, if it is a universal trope, universal trope, what about music? What about movies? What about
exactly.
books? What about plays? What about art? Like,
Like,
if basically, you might as well just do fucking 1984 at that point.
it's true. Like,
And
could I move
I said
my like if I got charged for public nudity, could I give that fine to Queen for I Like to Ride My Bicycle music video? And then just ship it off to Queen.
Yeah, like, my God, the world would be fucking boring.
Yeah.
And not to mention, I'd like to apologize for mentioning that book, but that's like the first thing that came to my mind,
Or if I get a charge for like negligence, could I just be like, well, I just listened to Let the Bodies Hit the Floor and I just wanted to see it actually happen. That's why I didn't do anything, officer.
No, you'll just get charged by listening to Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. Like, don't get me wrong, I like new metal, but holy shit, that genre can get cringy at times.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, that's what I want to leave this at. If you want more of me, if you want more of Josh, links to all of our stuff will be down below. And yeah, if you can find a crazier rabbit hole, leave it in the comments. Anything you would like to say, Josh?
I mean, if you want to think about it, Pokemon kind of promotes genocide.
We'll leave you with that. All right. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
See ya.